will request Dr. S. Sakel, Civil Consultant, Nephrology, from SIMS, Super Specialty Hospital. Sir, please come and talk on yours.
Thank you, sir, and we thank the Indian Medical Association of Andaman for giving me an opportunity to speak in front of all of you. And I come here 1 year back and I'm given a talk about urinary tract infections. So this is the second time that I'm coming here. So we'll be speaking about when to do renal replacement therapy in acute kidney injury. So first, the definition of acute kidney injury according to KDIGO guidelines is one increase in serum creatinine by more than 0.3 milligrams in 48 hours, or the serum creatinine increases by more than 1.5 times the baseline, or the urine volume decreases by more than 0.5 ml per kg per hour for 6 hours.
So it looks like the skin infection was the cause for acute kidney.
Yes, sir. So that
and the skin infection is coming under control with antibiotics.
Yes, sir. In people with SLE who are immunosuppressed, it is always very tough to decide whether it is lupus activity causing a problem or whether it is an infection that is causing a problem. It is very tricky. We may feel of the local complement levels, look at DSDNA levels, look at roadworks to them, but very often in clinical practice, it is a mix of these tests. It requires a lot of clinical judgment to decide whether it is lupus activity or infection.
Regarding the comparison between bolus, I'm not talking about the furosemide stress test. Regarding for the continuation itself, the comparison between furosemide bolus and furosemide infusion, am I correct if I say that the hypokalemia spikes which is going to come with the bolus is likely to be less if it is given as an infusion for the same amount of 24 hours dose of furosemide?
So what they found is in trials that have been done before, what they found is total toxicity is less with infusion compared to bolus. Hypokalemia, it has not been found to be the case. Anyhow, we are going to give very often we are more comfortable with giving an infusion, and that is what we have to do in people who are severely fluid locked. So like 10 milligrams per hour, so we are giving like 240 milligrams per day. If you are giving a bolus of 3 times per day, then it comes to a huge amount at a single time, single push. It has to be given very slowly, say slowly over 5 minutes or so. We cannot give a single push for like 100 milligrams as a single push. It becomes it's a huge high dose. So the toxicity has been found to be more when we use high doses of bolus furosemide injections.
The progress in this field is really very encouraging. Our patients who comes with severe disability, physical disability, can walk back home with this type of intervention.
किडनी डॉक्टर का
किडनी डॉक्टर
जी
साथियन से
जी हाँ साथियन
कैसा रिस्पॉन्स?
बहुत बढ़िया है। अभी मतलब जैसे मेरा हाल का है, अभी मतलब टैबलेट दे रहा है तो सिंपल से मतलब पानी जो चेस्ट में है वो तो सूख जाएगा करके, मतलब सांस लेने में बहुत तकलीफ हो रहा है ना, इसके लिए तो दवाई दे रहा है कि ठीक हो जाएगा करके।
अभी आप डॉक्टर साथियन को दिखाए नेफ्रोलॉजिस्ट?
जी
कैसा लगा डॉक्टर का आपका डायग्नोस्टिक?
अच्छा है, ट्रेन से एक्सप्लेन कर आराम मुझे थोड़ा समझ में।
कैसे फील कर रहे हो आप?
ठीक है सर।
डॉक्टर ने अच्छे से देखा?
जी ठीक है।
ठीक है, डॉक्टर जैसा एडवाइस करता है उसको फॉलो करिएगा, ठीक है जी। ये हमारे लिए भी बड़ी खुशी की बात है कि आज हम जो है डॉक्टर सत्यन के साथ यहाँ बैठे हैं, उनसे बात करने का, उनसे उन्हें जानने का हमें अवसर मिला है। हम आपको बता दें कि डॉक्टर सत्यन जो है एक स्पेशलिस्ट नेफ्रोलॉजिस्ट है एंड नेफ्रोलॉजी का हिंदी में नेफ्रोलॉजी विज्ञान कहते हैं या किडनी रोग विज्ञान के नाम से भी जानते हैं। एक नेफ्रोलॉजिस्ट जो है वो किडनी के रोगों का ही इलाज करता है और इसमें गुर्दे की पथरी, गुर्दा यानी कि हमारा किडनी, गुर्दे की पथरी, गुर्दे की बीमारियां, डायलिसिस या गुर्दा प्रत्यारोपण, इन्हीं सब चीजों की पढ़ाई करते हैं एक नेफ्रोलॉजिस्ट। और डॉक्टर सत्यन यहाँ पर हमारे साथ मौजूद है। हम सर से कुछ सवाल जवाब करेंगे ताकि हमारे द्वीपों में जिन लोगों को भी जो है गुर्दों से जुड़ी तकलीफ है उन्हें कुछ जानकारियां भी मिल सके। मगर एक बात हम आप लोगों को बताना चाहेंगे कि सर को जो है हिंदी नहीं आती है, तो ये जो वार्तालाप है वो अंग्रेजी में ही होगी एंड मैं उसका ट्रांसलेशन है वो मैं हिंदी में करके आप लोगों को बताने का एक प्रयास करूंगा। वेलकम टू अंडमान आइलैंड्स।
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
दिस इज योर फर्स्ट टाइम टू अंडमान?
Yeah, this is second time I'm coming here. It's a nice place.
You were also here in last year September?
Yeah, last year I was here.
So how was Andaman's last time and compared to that this time?
Yeah, like I could see the new airport. So the new terminal is there. So it looks very good and neat and far better than what was sold. So the people here are more content and happy. So like yeah, it's nice to come back here again.
So we'd like to know about different types of kidney related diseases.
We can classify kidney disease into acute kidney injury and chronic kidney disease. And there are a lot of other things also like primary glomerular disease, secondary glomerular disease. The most common thing that we see most often is chronic kidney disease. So we see an increasing prevalence of chronic kidney disease nowadays. It is because of the increased incidence of diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and the various other over-the-counter medications and the herbal products and all these things. So that we have globally there is an increasing prevalence of chronic kidney disease. So this is going to be a huge epidemic in the future. We need to take a lot of steps to prevent this from progressively rising as it is going to happen. So most important would be to control the diabetes, to control the hypertension, preventing obesity, avoiding over-the-counter medications, being more aware of all these kidney diseases, screening for chronic kidney diseases. So this would go a very important way in preventing the epidemic of chronic kidney disease that we are likely to face in the near future. Another kidney disease that we see most often is an acute kidney injury which is reversible. Unlike a chronic kidney disease which is not reversible, it is likely to progress. An acute kidney injury, if you identify the cause and treat it, it is likely to be reversible. What I heard, the common cause of acute kidney injury in Andaman Nicobar Islands, what I heard is leptospirosis is very prevalent in here, and so that can be a very important cause of acute kidney injury. So identifying that in any patient who has got fever, identifying that and treating that for an appropriate treatment for leptospirosis can prevent an acute kidney injury also. There are a lot of other diseases, and so there are so many aspects of acute kidney injury and chronic kidney disease. So like this is what came to my mind.
सर का कहना है कि अगर ज़्यादा समय से आपको किसी भी तरह की गुर्दे की परेशानी है, गुर्दे की बीमारी है, तो वो जो है क्रॉनिक लिवर डिजीज में आता है और इसके कई सारे कारण होते हैं जैसे डायबिटीज, मधुमेह होना, ओबेसिटी, मोटापा या फिर हाइपरटेंशन, अधिक तनाव होना या आपका हाई प्रेशर ज्यादा होना, ये सारे जो है मुख्य कारण होते हैं किसी भी क्रॉनिक डिजीज के। वहीं अगर हम एक्यूट किडनी इंजरी या एक्यूट किडनी डिजीज की बात करें तो उसके भी कई कारण होते हैं। जैसे अगर आप नंगे पांव चलते हो और अगर आपके पांव में कहीं पे भी चोट हो जाती है तो उससे भी जो कीटाणु होते हैं वो आपके शरीर में प्रवेश कर जाते हैं और फिर वो धीरे धीरे कर आपके पूरे शरीर में फैलने लगते हैं और उससे जो है उसका जो इफेक्ट होता है वो हमारे गुर्दों पर होता है। तो इसका भी इलाज जो है जल्द कराने से जो है आगे चलकर वो क्रॉनिक किडनी डिजीज में कन्वर्ट नहीं होगा। तो ये दो प्रकार की किडनी डिजीजेस हैं जिन पर सर का कहना है कि हम सबको जो है बहुत ध्यान देने की जरूरत है। फिर चाहे वो एक आपको लगे कि वो मामूली सा बुखार ही क्यों ना हो, मगर उसका तुरंत इलाज जो है इसका सबसे बेहतरीन उपचार है। और अगर आपको क्रॉनिक किडनी डिजीज है तो फिर आपको उपचार के लिए अवश्य ही जाना चाहिए, जिसके कई सारे प्रकार है जो अभी सर ने हमें बताए। हाउ डिफिकल्ट इज इट फॉर यू to manage with the patients who need regular dialysis or transplantation or something like this?
Yeah, it is quality of life comes down and it is very difficult for the patient as well as the whole family suffers for someone who is requiring dialysis. It needs to be done twice a week or 3 times a week. So there is a fistula for the patient, fistula in the hand of the patient, the new cannulation is being done. So the dialysis process lasts for about 4 hours. So like 2 days or 3 days in a week the patient is going to undergo dialysis. So it is a big burden for the patient as well as the caretakers of the patient. Transplantation provides a more complete replacement of kidney therapy. So they need not they are free of coming to the hospital on a daily basis. They have a more better kidney replacement therapy. The outcomes and the prognosis is also much better with transplantation compared to dialysis.
All these facilities are available in SIMS Hospital, Chennai.
Yes, we have a big dialysis unit, about 30 bedded dialysis unit. We do transplantation, both live related transplantation and disease donor transplantation. For those who do not have donors, we are able to do blood group incompatible transplantation also, and very complex transplant procedures also we are doing in SIMS. We have a good outcome in our hospital with respect to transplantation as well as dialysis.
Do you mind if I ask you what's the rate of success?
Yeah, like if it is a live related transplantation, more than 90-95% of the time we have a good outcome. For a deceased donor transplantation, that is a brain dead donor who is donating his kidneys, the immediate graft function might be, the patient might be requiring dialysis for 1 or 2 weeks. Even among them, about 80-90% of them eventually have a good outcome.
That's wonderful. Nice to know, sir. So I would also like to know about some common misconception related to the kidney disease. I'm sure you must know about it. And how are you able to manage the patients and their family members to educate them related to this?
There are a lot of common what comes. One is waiting for symptoms for kidney disease. So someone who is having diabetes and hypertension for a long time, they will be saying, I don't have any, I am comfortable, I am passing urine very well, I don't have swelling of the legs, I have a good appetite, I am taking food well. So they believe that they don't have kidney disease. So it is not the case, because symptoms of kidney disease develop with, they have say like more than 80% or 90% of the kidney is damaged. That is when the symptoms occur.
Right.
So waiting for such a long time, because they are asymptomatic, the treatment, the potential treatment that can be given is being delayed and may not be effective. So early screening, if someone who has got diabetes, hypertension, or family history of kidney disease or obesity, they must be screening for kidney disease, looking at creatinine and urine examination on an yearly basis to identify the kidney disease early. So that is the most common misconception among patients. Another thing, like that, the people with kidney disease, they think I have completely cut down my salt. Why my creatinine is not coming down? Cutting down the salt helps in controlling the blood pressure, controlling the edema, but the creatinine does not come down by cutting down the salt. Salt is different from this urea, creatinine, biochemical markers of kidney injury. Yet the most common misconception I would want the patients to avoid is because you don't have symptoms, it does not mean there is no kidney disease. Screening is important to identify and to treat kidney disease early.
डेफिनेटली बिल्कुल सही बात कहा है डॉक्टर सत्यन ने कि अगर आप इंतजार करोगे कि आपका जो है किडनी पूरी तरह खराब हो जाए उसकी या तब उसके लक्षण दिखे फिर आप इलाज करने जाओगे तो ये गलत है। आपको जब पहली मर्तबा लगता है जैसे इसके लक्षण होते हैं, आपके सर में दर्द होना या आपके पेशाब का पीला होना या उसमें जलन होना या आपको नींद ठीक से नहीं आना, आपको उल्टी आना, ये भी जो है आपके गुर्दों में बीमारी होने के एक लक्षण हो सकते हैं। डॉक्टर का कहना है कि आपको तुरंत इसका इलाज के लिए लग जाना चाहिए। कई बार तो ऐसा भी होता है कि ऐसे कुछ लक्षण आपको दिखाई भी नहीं देते, आपको एहसास भी नहीं होता, मगर आप जो है गुर्दे की बीमारी से ग्रसित होते हैं। तो डॉक्टर का कहना है कि इसका अगर हम रेगुलर चेकअप, मेडिकल चेकअप कराते रहेंगे तो इससे हमें जो है पता चलेगा कि हमारा किडनी कितना स्वस्थ है। और अगर इसमें जरा भी तकलीफ होनी शुरू हो रही है, इसके कुछ भी लक्षण दिख रहे हैं जो डॉक्टर आपको बता ही देंगे, तो फिर आपको इसका इलाज तुरंत करा लेना चाहिए। और सबसे बेहतरीन इसका इलाज यही है कि हम जो है अपनी डेली जो लाइफस्टाइल है उसको बेहतर करें। समय पे सोना, समय पे खाना, भरपूर पानी पीना, हल्का फुल्का व्यायाम करना, ज्यादा तनाव नहीं लेना, सकारात्मक सोच रखना। अगर हम इसके प्रति ज्यादा जागरूक रहेंगे, अपने आप को जागरूक रखेंगे, तो हम इन बीमारियों से डेफिनेटली बच सकते हैं। मैं डॉक्टर सत्यन से ये जानना चाह रहा हूँ कि जिस तरह हम सब जानते हैं कि आजकल टेली मेडिसिन भी काफी पॉपुलर हो रहा है और आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस AI भी, तो इनका जो है भविष्य में डॉक्टरों पर क्या प्रभाव पड़ सकता है वो हम डॉक्टर सत्यन से जानना चाहेंगे।
Yes, telemedicine is likely to play a big role. One, the interpretation of the laboratory tests. Whenever a lab test is being made, this artificial intelligence might come up in the future where an alert is being raised so that this patient might be alerted and the corresponding doctor might be alerted about a possible kidney disease for the patient. Telemedicine is also likely to play a role, the number of medications prescribed by several doctors. So telemedicine might play a role in identifying which group of medicines are going to interact and likely to be of harm for the patient. So that telemedicine, like because of the multiple prescriptions that patients might have, AI might play a role in avoiding the harmful effect of this medications, the appropriate dose, the appropriate medications, or the interactions between these medications. So that is one role where telemedicine might be helpful. Obviously, every one of us have become technologically more advanced, and we have a mini computer in our hands. So we look for symptoms. What are all the symptoms? So we get answers, but we should not be. Most often the answers are frightening. So we need not be too much. That might be harmful also. So we must see the appropriate doctor and try to get the, because if you have some blood in urine, the first thing AI might say it might be cancer. Like, so it may not be the case. So like yeah, then there needs to be some clear distinction where it is going to be helpful and where it is going to be. It depends upon how we are going to take it. Definitely, it's going to come up in a big way, and we are going to be benefited. It might need some fine tuning over a long period of time.
I think that no matter how advanced the telemedicine gets or artificial intelligence become, still we will need help of the doctor for the final decision, right?
Yes, definitely.
सर का भी यही कहना है कि फिलहाल की जो स्थिति है, विज्ञान चाहे जितना भी आगे बढ़ जाए, तो टेलीमेडिसिन बेशक एक सहायता हो सकती है, वैसे ही आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस भी, मगर अंत में जो निर्णय लेना है और पेशेंट्स मरीजों को क्या करना चाहिए और अंतिम निर्णय जो लेना है, वो एक डॉक्टर को ही लेना पड़ेगा। जो अभी डॉक्टर सत्यन जी कह रहे हैं कि अभी भी विज्ञान उतना एडवांस नहीं हुआ है कि एक आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस जो है पूरी तरीके से आपके स्वास्थ्य को लेकर निर्णय ले सकता है, मगर उनका ये भी कहना है कि हम नहीं जानते कि आगे जो है विज्ञान और कितना डेवलप करता है। फिलहाल जो उनका नजरिया है वो ये है कि ये सहायक जरूर हो सकते हैं टेलीमेडिसिन या आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस, लेकिन अंतिम निर्णय जो है वो अभी भी डॉक्टर के ही हाथ में है। ये सवाल हम इसलिए कर रहे थे क्योंकि हमारे बहुत से जो सब्सक्राइबर्स हैं, हमारे दर्शक हैं, जब उन्होंने ऐड देखा था कि सिम्स हॉस्पिटल से नेफ्रोलॉजिस्ट आने वाले हैं, तो उन्होंने हमसे कहा था कि ये डॉक्टर से जरूर पूछना कि वे जानना चाहते हैं कि भविष्य में जाकर जो है आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस और टेलीमेडिसिन का कितना असर पड़ सकता है और हमारे समाज में कुछ बदलाव आ सकते हैं। इसीलिए मैंने ये सवाल आपसे किया था। That's the reason I asked you, because one of our viewers had written in WhatsApp, when you visit the doctor from the SIMS, please ask him about this effect in future about the telemedicine and artificial intelligence. Thank you so much for answering all our questions, and thanks for giving us this your precious time.
It's a pleasure for me to be here in Andaman Nicobar Islands and interacting with all of you nice people and lovely people.
We're looking forward to meet you again, sir, so that we have more questions and with little bit more time, so that every questions related to the people here would be answered, and that would be more beneficial.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.